Hello, everyone. My name is Jackie, and I am the librarian here at the Iron River Public Library. And we are here today to have our story time. So let's get started. Old Crow is ready to go. Tell me a story, tell me a story, tell me a story. One you haven't said. Tell me about the birds and the bees. How to make the chickens sneeze. Tell me a story, and then I'll go to bed. Well, thank you to Old Crow there. He is loving that song, isn't he? Well, we are here today to look at different things. What is this that I have in? It's a sweatshirt. Yeah, I don't usually wear a sweatshirt. I usually wear a sweater or something. But this sweatshirt, what color is it? Same color as this. And this, a tomato. Or even this, a book. These have all the same thing in common. They are all red. Red book, red cup, red tomato, and red sweatshirt. We are going to be talking about red. Now, before we get too far into this, a lot of people like the color red. It's a really pretty color, really bright and fun. And it could also mean a lot of other things like anger too, because when people are shown in anger, they sometimes have like a red page to them on the picture. But what about Olivia? Olivia is a pig. And I don't know what her favorite color is. Let's find out in Olivia by Ian Falconer. This is Olivia. She is good at lots of things. She's got a book that says 40 very loud songs. She's singing away, la, 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 la. So she is also very good at wearing people out. She's got a hammer, she's hammering, she's jumping, she's skipping, she's standing on her head, she's playing with her yo-yo, she's howling at the moon, she is kicking a ball, she is kicking out with her foot, she is stirring the bowl, she is running, skipping, jumping, she even wears her sock out. Look at that. She's got to kick the bear for all that activity. Olivia has a little brother named Ian. He's always copying her. Look at him. See, she's got a pretty red bow and pretty red shoes and red lipstick. And look at Ian. He even has red lipstick on too. Sometimes Olivia has to be firm because he doesn't leave her alone. Look at that. She's scared of him. He's running away. Olivia lives with her mother and her father, her brother, and her dog, Perry, and Edwin the cat. There it is. In the mornings, after she gets up and moves the cat, because it's important to move the cat, and brushes her teeth with a red toothbrush, and combs her ears, and moves the cat, because again, the cat can't move on his own. She's got to make sure he moves her. Olivia gets dressed. She has to try on everything. She's got a red dress, a red sweater, red tennis shoes, red swimming suit, red earmuffs, and red mittens, tights, a red hat, a red swimming suit, a red hat, red sunglasses, a red purse, red leggings, red shirt, red dress, red backpack, red and white striped shirt, red underwear, and another red dress. On sunny days, Olivia likes to go to the beach. She feels it's important to come prepared. She's got her ball, which is red and white, and her red swimsuit. She's got on flotation devices on her arms, earplugs, a hat, as well as goggles. Last summer, her mother there, when Olivia was little, showed her how to make sandcastles. She got pretty good. Look at all that tall sandcastle. There's Ian playing with the crab, and there's Mom sunning herself while she's playing in the sand. Sometimes Olivia likes to bask in the sun. There she is on her with a red swimsuit. When her mother sees that she's had enough, they go home. Did she get sunburned? I think you're right. Look at that. She's all pink now, isn't she? So they're heading home with their umbrella and their ball, and away they go. Now, every day, Olivia is supposed to take a nap. It's time for your you-know-what, her mother says. What is Olivia looking like? She doesn't look like she's real excited. No. Of course, Olivia's not at all sleepy. She decides she wants to try to dance. Dance and dance and dance and dance. Not real sleepy there, is she? On rainy days, Olivia likes to go to the museum. She heads straight for her favorite picture. This is a ballet dancer. Yes, and it's by an artist named Degas. And Olivia likes to look at it for a very long time. What could she be thinking? What could she be thinking when she's looking at that picture? Could she be thinking about being on stage herself? Maybe. But there is one painting Olivia just doesn't get. I could do that in about 5 minutes, she says to her mother. This is by Jackson Pollock. As soon as she gets home, she gives it a try. What do you think Mom's thinking? I don't think Mom's real happy. Let's find out. Time out. Yeah, Mom wasn't happy about that. After a nice bath, see all the little red footprints heading to the bath, and a nice dinner, spaghetti and meatballs, it's time for bed. But of course, Olivia's not at all sleepy. Only 5 books tonight, Mommy, she says. No, Olivia, just 1. How about 4? 2? 3? Oh, all right, 3, but that's it. When they finished reading, Olivia's mother gives her a kiss and says, you know, you really wear me out, but I love you anyway. And Olivia gives her mom a kiss back and says, I love you anyway too. And there she is, dreaming of being an opera singer with a beautiful red dress on. And there she is, get into another red dress. So, Olivia by Ian Falconer. I am thinking that Miss Olivia loves to wear red. Red is her favorite color. Well, I have another thing here that's red. But we didn't see this actually in Olivia because, you know, she had hats and mittens and clothes and all kinds of things, but she did not have a red scarf. But if given the choice, I think her scarf would have been red. And we are going to be singing a song about a red scarf. It goes like this. One red scarf waiting for the wind to blow. Wiggle it high, wiggle it low. Wiggle scarf quickly. Shake it slow. Where did it go? Let's try that again. One red scarf waiting for the wind to blow. Wiggle it high, wiggle it low. Shake it fast, shake it slow. Where did it go? It's hiding behind me, isn't it? Yeah, behind my red sweatshirt. Well, I know of a dog that has a red coat because, you know, red is not just for people. But how does he feel about his red coat? Let's find out in Ruffles and the Red Coat by David Melling. This is Ruffles. Ruffles loves howling, scratching, eating, fetching, bringing the bone back, sniffing, and chewing. I can get in the picture so you can see it better. Digging, running, and of course, sleeping. Those are all things that Ruffles loves. But Ruffles does not love his new red coat. Look at you put the coat on. He's all his tail's down, his ears are back. He's like, I don't like this at all. Not one teeny tiny little bit. What is he going to try and do? Do you think he's going to try to get that coat off? No, 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 and no. Look at that. He succeeded in getting his coat off. That's a pretty talented dog. Ruffles should wear his coat when it is cold and wet. Today, it is cold and wet, and the rain is making puddles. Ruffles loves puddles. So Ruffles sniffs and pats with his paw and licks with his tongue and splishes and splashes and splooshes with his paws and jumps and jumps and jumps, making all kinds of wet all over the place, including himself. He's all wet. This is Ruffles' friend Ruby. Ruby's wearing her new blue coat. They sniff and pat and lick and splish and splash and sploosh and jump and jump and jump until big dogs come. Look at those 3 big dogs come flying by and splashing poor Ruffles and his friend. The puddle is all splashed away, and Ruffles is wet and cold and mad. He does not like to be wet and cold. For Ruby shakes and wags her tail. She just still wants to play. Ruffles doesn't. She tries to get him to play. He says no. She tries some more. He says no. She tries again and again and again. And he says no, no, no. Ruffles doesn't want to play because he's cold and wet. Now Ruby is sad. Look at her tail is down and her ears are down. She's so sad. So she goes away from Ruffles. And Ruffles is all alone. Look at he's sad too. His ears are down. But then Ruby comes back with Ruffles' red coat. It takes a really long time, and he has to do lots and lots of wriggling until at last the coat is on. Look at that. He's got his coat off and he works really hard and he gets it on. That is a very skilled dog. Yes. And look at that. There's another bottle. Maybe the red coat is not so bad after all. Ruffles loves sniffing, patting, licking, splishing, splashing, splooshing, and jumping in puddles. Most of all, Ruffles loves Ruby. The end. So Ruffles found out his beautiful red coat was not so bad after all, did he? Because it kept him dry. I know somebody else that has a red coat. This fellow here. This fellow's name is Andrew, and he has a red coat on, doesn't he? The blue sash and gold braiding and trim. He looks pretty dapper. His name is Andrew, and he is the Duke of York. And the Duke of York has an army. He has to march. And we are going to be his army. And we are going to be marching. It goes like this. The grand old Duke of York, he had 10,000 men. He marched them up the hill and he marched them down again. And when they're up, they're up. And when they're down, they're down. But when they're only halfway up, they're neither up nor down. Let's try that one again. The grand old Duke of York, he had 10,000 men. He marched them up the hill and he marched them down again. And when they're up, they're up. And when they're down, they're down. But when they're only halfway up, they're neither up nor down. It's hard to do that, isn't it? Let's try it one more time, really, really fast. The grand old Duke of York, he had 10,000 men. He marched them up the hill and he marched them down again. And when they're up, they're up. And when they're down, they're down. But when they're only halfway up, they're neither up nor down. Good job, you guys. You are doing such good marching. Whew. We got time for just one more book, and it is called Red by Laura Vaccaro Seeger. Here is dark red. Barely make it out amongst the trees. I'm gonna put my finger up there so you can see it. Yeah, right there is dark red. And then there's light red. You can just barely make out the tops of the mushrooms are red. And you can just barely make out the red in the sunrise. Uh-oh, there's lost red. He's all by himself. His buddies are gone. Uh-oh. Then there's bright red. Look at that. You got the bright tail lights of the truck and the bright lights of the railroad, don't you? Then there's rose red. Look at all the beautiful roses. Yeah, all the rose red. Look at this girl with a basketball. Then there's mud red, kind of a reddish brown, right there. Then there's rust red. Look at all the nails sticking up and they're all rusty, kind of a brownish red there too. Uh-oh, blood red. Look at the fox stepped on the nails and hurt his paw. You can barely see it, but there's little red paws there. It's all red. Now, then, of course, there's apple red. There's an apple that the fox sees on the ground. You might be getting a little hungry. Then, of course, there's brick red. Look at the red brick wall. All brick red. Then, of course, there's autumn red. Kind of a orangish red color in amongst all the trees. And there's trick red. There is a red beefsteak sitting out in a cage. Why would beefsteak be on the ground outside? Good question. Caged red. Uh-oh, someone caught the fox in a cage. Look at the girl looking in. She's like, oh no. Then there is rage red. He is very upset with himself for getting caught in that cage. He is howling really good. He's very, very upset. Then there's trust red. The girl opens the cage. And the fox is like, do I go out or not? Then he does. Goes through the gate that she opens from, crosses the tracks, goes across the prairie, and look at that. There he sees his friends up in the woods. Now he's just red. And that is that book, Red. Well, I want to thank you all for coming to Storytime. We'll begin doing it next week. And before we go, let's do our final song. It goes to the tune of If You're Happy and You Know It. We're going to be clapping, stomping our feet, and then shouting, hooray! And then we walk. Story time is over, clap your hands. Story time is over, clap your hands. Story time is done. I hope you had some fun. Story time is over, clap your hands. Story time is over, stomp your feet. Story time is over, stomp your feet. Story time is done. I hope you had some fun. Story time is over, stomp your feet. Story time is over, shout hooray, hooray. Story time is over, shout hooray, hooray. Story time is done. I hope you had some fun. Story time is over, shout hooray, hooray. Do all three. Story time is over. Do all three. Hooray! Story time is over. Do all three. Hooray! Story time is done. I hope you had some fun. Story time is over. Do all three. Hooray! Thanks for coming, everybody, and we'll see you next time. Bye.